where the videos are. Um, if we go to, so one of the places you can find them is if you go to the syllabus, and there's a right here, it says YouTube, and it goes to the, I basically created playlists, and so there's a playlist for 220. One of the things, I don't know why, but the newest ones appear at the bottom.
Yeah.
You might be able to sort that. So it's a YouTube channel, actually. On the blog, if I go back, you'll see this is actually what we're going to do right now, but you'll see the stuff we've been doing for that we do in class and things. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to go to Files and show you something. I've already downloaded it, but there is, if you want to download it, there's a picture. This is a picture. This is a student entity. We're going to use it to talk through the normalization and create a diagram from it. So you can download it. If you go over here, you can click on download. And as I said, I've already downloaded it, so I'll load it here for you. And let's go downloads. Oh, there it is, student entity. And then I'm going to make it big. And this, I'm going to. So this is a totally unnormalized thing. And I kind of wish I'd made it a Visio thing instead of a picture when I uploaded it, because we'll have to just kind of flip back and forth to look at it. So this is totally non-normalized. Do you see any repeating groups?
Department.
Well, so department is kind of second normal form, right? Because we've got like a whole we've got a whole subgroup, right? A subset. So that needs to be removed. That's part of the second normal form. Major and major two, again, whenever you're numbering things, that's not a good idea. Yeah.
Course numbers.
Yeah, because these would probably have like arrays at this point, right? So we need to, those probably need to be separated out. So these violate first normal form, and so does this. You already pointed out second normal form, right? Department. Any others?
Student years enrolled.
Student years enrolled, probably. Although you could argue you could just have a starting year and end year, but it could be.
That's still two pieces of data.
Yeah. You might break it into start and end, or you might keep it as a separate table. There's also like advisor name, advisor phone. That's sort of the third normal form thing I tried to put in there. You know, kind of.
It's on table.
I would make it its own table. And one of the things you have to decide here, and we're going to make this one. It's kind of sad. We've got one table here. It's going to end up about 9 tables. The question is whether a student has only one advisor or multiple advisors. So basically, if you find a table like this, I mean, and when you're looking at your own, what you want to do is go through and make sure you're not repeating stuff. Make sure you don't have any subgroups like department. You don't not repeated or whatever you got, not referring to album, not referring to sale, things like that. So let's do video, and we'll make a database out of this, a database diagram. I suppose if you were really want to cheat, you could look at what we did this morning, but maybe this will be different than what we did this morning. All right, so I want the crow's foot. I'm going to create that. So I'm going to make it a little bigger. Whoa, that's quite a bit bigger. So if we think about what entities we need students, right? What else do we need? Department. Probably advisor. And I'm going to put majors there, major. And I'll start putting some fields in too. Is there anything else? There's the course stuff. So let's do, I'm going to hold course grades in a moment because that's a little bit weird, but I'm going to come down and do course. One of the things that's going to be frustrating about this is that I just trying to show this on the screen. I'm doing, maybe I should make it smaller.
Can you do it landscape? Would that make a difference?
Well, I mean, sort of, but I mean, I can move things over, but it's still not going to all fit on the screen. So I'm going to do course. I could do this small, but can you? No. There are a couple of times when I can go into a full screen mode. So student, we had student key, right? And I may need to look at my picture. There's student key, name, date, email, right? Visio, there it is. Do I want, should we do like a start?
Student birthday.
Oh, yeah. Start and end date. Do we want that in here? Maybe just the start date for right now. Does that look okay for student? All these relate to student, right?
Learn for life.
Learn for life, yeah. We could, I mean, we could do end date in there too. Department, we had department key. What were the others? Department name?
Well, they don't have department, they just have department, but we should have department.
Probably.
Department phone,
Department phone.
department building.
Building. Department room.
That kind of assumes that the department will never move from that building and move now, doesn't it?
Yeah, although you can change it. One of the things that you could argue, though, I'm not sure I want to go there right now, is that department room is describing department building. That's a transient dependency of sorts. Let's leave it for right now, but if that's the case, you might want to break up building and rooms. It's going to be complicated enough, I say so. Okay, so I'm going to do, like for major, I'm going to do major key. Major name, and I'm actually going to do department key. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to set it as a foreign key. We'll do the relations in a minute. The reason is that I think a major will belong to a department. Thinking of a department as like English department or psychology. Actually, they're all in humanities. Those are all majors in humanities. Math, you know. So the majors will belong to a department. Do advisors belong to just one department, or do they cross? And actually, the answer to that will vary school to school. So do you want them to be multiple departments or just one?
Multiple.
Multiple? All right. Here they are, multiple, because there aren't that many of them. So I'm going to do advisor key, and we're kind of punting as to what that key would be. When we actually create the databases, then you have to decide actually what that key consists of and how you're going to do it. Advisor name, advisor phone. Now, how do you show that they can be in multiple departments? You guys remember? So basically, what kind of relationship happens between a department and advisor? Yeah, many to many, because one department can have many advisors, and one advisor can belong to many departments. So we need, what do we need? A linking table, good. So I'm going to put that over here. And I'm just going to department key, advisor key, and get rid of that last one. I'm going to move this up above. Doesn't matter a whole lot. I'm going to make it a primary key, foreign key, foreign key. I'll draw the lines in a minute. Well, we could draw the lines for that. And
You're gonna just call that department advisor, advisor.
oh, right, yeah, department advisor. I don't know why I want to capitalize the M. Yeah, except it's not a new word. I'm going to make this, I'm going to format my shape to make it big. Is jumbo too big? Let's see what extra large does. Is extra large big enough?
Yeah.
I just want it to be visible. So the one part would go over here, and the mini part would go down here. See, I don't like that, so I have to link it to the whole table somehow. Okay. And then I'm going to copy that. I copy it so I don't have to reformat. Come on, over here. So I might zoom down a little just to see, so you can see that. So that gives us our relation between department and advisor. And we could do also, since we've got it here, I'm going to go to department, because one department can have many majors. Does that make sense so far? I may have to move things around. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not like, it's not blurry, can you make that like bigger? I'm trying to.
Yeah, if I make it bigger, the reason I made it smaller was so you could see some of it.
You know, I understand.
It's really hard to see. When it's big, I can't get very much of it
Oh,
on
really?
screen. So if I make it big, I have.
Well, just big enough to where I can, okay.
How's
Wait,
that?
no, just a little bit. Just a little bit more, okay, perfect.
And one of the things that I will do too is I'll post this into Canvas, the actual Visio file, so you can play with it if you want. So I did department to major, because one department can have many majors. And then over on the other side, I've got one department can have many advisor, one advisor can advise for many departments. That's all I've got so far of relations, yeah. Does that make sense? We have one table, and so far we broke it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many more? 6 so far, and there'll be more. As I said, normalization, the result of normalization is usually to take things and break them up into smaller and smaller pieces. I don't know how to get this into a picture where you can actually see it all. I'll give you a minute. Let me know when you're ready. Move on. You guys ready? You know what? One of the things I do want to do, I meant to do it early. I'm going to go to design and I'm going to change it to something a little, oh, and then I lost it. Okay. I think that's a little more readable on the screen in the blue. We haven't dealt with the course or the grade yet. Yeah.
So like an advisor in one department, his key will be different from when he's in another department?
It would be, yes. So as long as the combination is unique, as long as it's a different department. So the same advisor can appear multiple times as long as the department changes. And the same department can appear multiple times as long as the advisor. So if I was actually doing this, I'd really want to think about, because actually the way it would probably work, the way it works here, is that a department probably only has one advisor, but that advisor may go to multiple departments. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. In which case, it could just be a simple one-to-many, where this is the one and this would be the many. But we'll leave it as is. This allows them, each department, to have more than one advisor and each advisor to work in more than one department.
So it'll be the same case for student and advisor. Right?
Why?
It will be the same case for the student and the advisor.
Yes. Now, so the student and advisor, yes, if you want to know, and I don't think I did this in the last class, I forgot about that. But yes, you're right. So probably there would be a many-to-many between student and advisor, so you create a linking table between advisor and student. It might not even matter ultimately what department they're for if you just do the student and advisor. I'm going to just put a many-to-many in here for student and advisor. And I'll just do like the student key and advisor key. Get rid of this. Try to get rid of that. There we go. Move this up. I'm going to set it as primary key and as foreign keys. You don't have to do a linking table that way, but I tend to, because it keeps you from accidentally associating them more than once. You could just make your own a separate key. This means that the combination always has to be unique. So I think that that keeps you from accidentally repeating things. And linking tables almost never have child tables from them. You know what I mean? There's almost never, this is almost never the one part of any relationship. So it's usually okay. But you don't have to do that. Just to let you know, it's not required that you do a composite key there.
So to identify that student advisor combo, you need both of those.
You need them both in the table. They don't have to form the primary key. But you do need both of them as foreign keys. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's.
Would your alternative then to be to set up a unique, is there any advantage to doing that ever?
I don't know if there's any real advantage to it. It's just that you don't, some people don't like the idea that it's both a primary key and a foreign key. The only time I would do it is if this could have child tables, because as a composite key, don't know if you remember that, but both of these fields would always have to be repeated in any related tables. And that's a bit awkward. I'm going to put the relationships in here. I'm going to do student as the one side. And when you do your own thing here, I don't, as I said, I don't really care whether you have 0 here or 1 here or whatever. What I really do want though is that the 1 is pointing to the primary key table, to one side, and the crow's foot is pointing to the mini table. That's important because if you follow that through in design, if you get this backwards and when you actually build the database, it won't let you enter data. You end up in an infinite loop. You really have to have the primary key side is the 1, and then the foreign key side is the mini. So getting the crow's foot in the right place matters. I don't care about the subtleties of what they call cardinality, like 0 and 1 or 1 or must be 1. 1 or many or 0 and many. That's what the things do. Yeah.
In the entity of student advisor, can you add like another foreign key like major? Major key to be more deep?
I don't know that. So the major is listed by department, right? And then we also probably need a student major, right? So let me real quickly, I'll paste and I'll finish this one with the advisor to the student advisor. And then we need probably between major and actually I have a link between, oh no, that's over to department. See how messy these get? There we go. And in between here, I'll do a student major. And so a student could have more than one major. Most schools put a limit on how many they can have. It's arguable that there should be other stuff here, but I'm just going to do a major key. I'll move this one up. And oh. Okay. So that has a link between student and major, and it needs a link between major. Actually, let me just paste.
Want the link between student advisor there?
Well, do we have a link between student advisor?
And student major?
How did that get there? Things get squirrely. There are things about Visio I hate, and one of the things I hate is the way things jump around. And then we're unconnected there. I will do a full picture of this in a moment. You need down? Up a little? Or I mean down, this way. We still haven't dealt with course. We'll deal with it in a second. And again, beyond the particulars of this, the idea is just to show you that one table we have for student, how when we normalize it, it breaks it up into mini tables. And it's, yeah.
Sorry, don't we need another table for grades, like when we want to?
Yes, so course, there's going to be another table for where the student meets the course, right? So
Are we assuming that But we don't need to pay for the department of the course.
I'm assuming that we probably will want to link it to the department, but I'm assuming the course belongs to a department.
So you don't think the same, that multiple departments could offer the same course?
Actually, at least at this school, no, they can't. Although, I mean, I don't know if we want to go there. A major can involve courses from multiple departments. But the courses belong to the department.
So do you have student advisor and advisor connected?
Yeah, so student advisor and advisor should be connected. And it's this connects up to student. As I said, the map, I really wish I had a way to get this on screen a little better. I will show you it in a moment full screen, but you won't be able to read it because it'll be smaller. And I will post it online. I mean, I'll put it in Canvas, the actual Visio file, so you can take it and play with it if you want. And I'll probably put a picture of it on the blog, that actual Visio putting files in Canvas. So let's just do course name.
Can we open it and view it in Canvas so we don't have it here?
I don't think so. Anybody? I don't think so. I don't think it'll show it there if you don't have Visio.
Course ID?
Well, I have the actually, yeah, probably the course number. Although that could be the key. I don't think I'd put it on major there, but I will put department. So, because the same course could be in multiple majors,
Would we want a course description here?
probably. I'm not trying to get all the fields. So, yeah, there could be other fields in a lot of these. Like the advisor, you probably want more than the phone for them. You know, you probably want their office and etc. So I'm not necessarily putting all the fields in here. I'm just trying to get enough to get the gist of it. So where's department? That's a pain. All right. Once I'm done with this, I may want to try to move things around. Go, 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 go. You can get up there. That's making a crooked path through there. And then it leaped way over there.
Where is it going?
So course to department. Right. Because department is, of course, it belongs to. Course belongs to a department. I don't know if we want to deal with the courses and majors. We can if you really want to.
Wouldn't it just be a one-to-many between major and course?
No, I think it'd be a many to many. Because one course could be part of many majors.
Oh,
But before we get there, let's add student course. As I said, I'll try to post it. It's a mess. So I'm going to add a student course. Or you could call it something else. I'm kind of following a naming convention, but you don't have to follow exactly the same one. I'm going to do the, actually I'm going to do student course key rather than make it simply because there's other things in here. So there'll be student key. There will be course key. This is where I would put their grade. Whoa, not the relationship, I want an attribute. Course grade, you know what they get for the course. And you might also do things like, you would probably want quarter, year, you know, that kind of thing in here, because this is a specific instance of the course. And they should be like course, quarter, if I'm being consistent, which I never am, etc. I mean, there's probably a lot more information we want in there. Court section, etc. You might want an instructor table with instructors over here, but we'll leave that out for right now.
Should we call it Canvas?
What?
Should we call this our product Canvas?
Well, you could. I mean, there's some kind of database similar to this and probably a lot more complicated under Canvas. I'm not sure. Actually, I was curious about that. I was thinking about the other day. I'm really not sure what database Canvas uses underneath. My guess would be something like MySQL. Or it might be a NoSQL database because they have so many different types of information that they're capturing. Yeah, and again, there'll probably be other things under here too, like course section, instructor, you know, things like that. But you're right, there has to be something like this under Canvas. I don't know exactly how they've set it up. So I'm going to, we'll do our tie-ins here. So this is going to tie to course. Let's see if I can get this over here. Okay. And then we have to go up to student, which is a bit of a pain. So I need to like drag this up to the mini site goes down here. Student is way up here.
So we're connecting student course to student.
To student, right. Now I may try to move this around a little bit. I'm going to make it a little smaller so I can see. And this will drive you nuts, but this is not super readable. So let's see what I can do. Student major, student, so that's not terrible. Here's a little terrible. Student advisor, oh, that's not where I wanted to move it. Department advisor. So we got a broken link here. Where does that go? I think that's worse. I have no idea. This is department to, that's where it goes. Oh, that's not what I want. I was just trying to make it so it was more readable, but I don't know that that's any more readable. I don't know if one more will make it late. Okay, that's as close as I can get to putting it on screen. Again, the point isn't all the particulars of this, and particularly one of the things you're going to find is difficult here is these lines. It's almost impossible to get a layout that's clean, and that's one of my big complaints about this program. These are so squirrely, and it's really hard to control where they go. But we started with just a student table, right? And that's what I want to emphasize. We started with the student table. We still have the student table, but now everything in here relates to student. We took the other stuff out. We broke out the department because that was really a big theme of its own. It's a sub-theme, so it needed to be broken out. We also, because the advisor had a couple of fields, like the name and the phone and etc., so it was a transient dependency, we broke it out. A lot of times you'll find that when there's things that are multiple or transient, that they end up with a many-to-many relationship. It's fairly common, so you have to create linking tables. Department advisor, we created a linking table for that. The major, because they could have more than one major, we broke that out. And here we have the list of all the majors, what departments they go to. And this is what majors each student does. And typically, schools limit you to 2 as a max. Sometimes even just 1. Okay. We had in the original, we had their course grades, but in order to get their course grades, we really needed to separate out course and then list the courses that they were enrolled in. So this has the grade in it. Is there anything I left out? So from one table, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables. And we could end up with more if we wanted, because we really didn't delineate which courses belong to which majors. I'm not sure we need to for this, but that's another 2 tables anyway. What do you think of that process? Does it make sense? As I said, one of the big drawbacks of a relational database is how complicated they are. And if we get more real, we might want to complicate this more. As I said, that department room and department is kind of modifying department building as opposed to just department. So probably that should be broken off into buildings and rooms. Okay, but I think that's good enough for now. No comments, additional? Yeah,
Are we uploading this or turning it in, or is it just an exercise?
this is just a look at, yeah.
Are you gonna make a picture of that?
So there will be a picture, there actually is a picture of something almost the same as this on the blog right now from last period. But I will make another picture and post it again, and I'm also gonna post the actual Visio file as a file in Canvas, so you can download it if you want.
And we can't download it on our own computer.
You can. If I load it into Canvas, you should be able to download it. So there will be 2 versions of it. In the blog, it'll be just a picture. But I will load the Visio file into Canvas so that you can download the Visio file if you want.
So are we allowed to have video on our own computer?
Oh, yes.
How do we get it?
So the same place you can get SQL Server and all that from, I'll show you again real quick. So I'm going to get out of this mode. And I'm going to minimize this. And still everything's real big right now, so it's kind of. So I'm going to go to. Okay, so let's just open a new tab. Let's see if I can remember. Actually, you might want it big for the address. I think it's IT.
Programs.
Yeah, programs, Seattle Central. Programs, Seattle. I don't know if there's 2 S's. Seattle Central.com. Nah, this one isn't. But nope, that didn't work. So here's another thing you can do. This actually works better. Seattle IT programs. And Seattle Central IT programs. I had it backwards. So Seattle Central IT programs, and if you go to Dream right here, which is no longer called DreamSpark, it's called Microsoft Imagine, and Visio, like right there, Visio Professional 2016, and it's free. If you might, if you haven't ever done anything, you'll have to register first. Register is just your student ID and give it a password. And then it'll email you at your student email, which is a pain because they probably never use it. But if you're enrolled in an IT class, and you are, it should you should be able to get it for free.
Is it only good for the quarter, do you know, or?
No, it's good. I mean, once you've downloaded it, it's good forever.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you aren't a registered student, you can still go here, but they tend to expire after 90 days or something. But if you're a student and you download it, the versions last forever. And Visio's worth, I think its price is around $600, so it's not nothing.
How did you get that?
Click on that little green. It used to be called DreamSpark, now they're calling it Microsoft Imagine.
And it has more templates and you can do more sophisticated things with it. Like the stripped down version doesn't allow you to connect to databases and parse the information where the professional does.
Well, yeah, I don't know the professional lets you connect to a database either. Enterprise level used to. I don't know.
The one we were using them because it was enterprise.
Yes.
Might be. I don't know if they let you have that. There's Visio 2013 and Visio 2016. I would get the 2016. But literally, you can have everything that Microsoft has except Office here. And in Office, you can get through the school. So
which username are they wanting?
they want your student ID name. Your student ID.
Student ID.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where you can get Visio. You don't have to use Visio, by the way. If you have, there are open source tools you can use. And I have let people turn things in hand drawn and take a phone picture of it. If I was doing these, these diagrams, when I'm doing it for myself, I always do them by hand. So
Can you do that? Can you turn it in?
you can turn them in hand. One of the things, if you want to turn it in through Canvas, which is usually safer, you can just take a picture of it.
And then submit it.
And then submit it. I will accept that as long as it's legible. Visio is a nice tool if you're developing, for presentation. Although if I were doing, I'd spend a lot more time trying to organize these so that they present better. So you don't have crossovers like this. This is a one going up through a mini. So you have a one and a mini together there because it's two different relationships that are overlapping. Same here. So it can be a real pain trying to get it to lay out in such a way that it's clear. It can take a lot of work to make it do that. And then if you want, you can do things like you can make a fancy background, patterned background and things. You can make these things have drop shadows. So you could make something to impress an employer or and actually if it's an employer, it depends on the employer, but they probably won't understand it anyway. It's just a matter of something to talk through. All right, so I will save this. I will post it in a couple of ways. To save these, when you do save, you have some options. I'm going to do save it to document. By default, it's a Visio drawing, VSDX, but you can save it as a lot of different things, including SVG, which is a standard XML graphics thing. You can save it as a PDF or a GIF or a JPEG or a PNG. You can save it in a lot of different ways. If you want to reuse it again, do the top one. And I'm going to call this one student 2.
Were they substantially different from the first one?
Not really. Let me go. So this is the one. See if I can. This is the one we did this morning. It's pretty close. I think you guys have a few extra fields, but it's the relationships are about the same. I think I might have got it a little cleaner in the display. I don't know.
We have the student advisor start from.
Right, yeah. We were trying to figure out this morning, and you guys kind of mentioned it too, although you mentioned it with what terms they were enrolled, which we ignored. We just put student years enrolled as a field there, which probably should be broken out. But they had wondered about when does one advisor start and when another advisor start and stuff. But as I said, the gist of it is pretty close. So there is, as I said, that picture already up there, and I will post the Vizio into yours. I'll also post the picture from this one because it is slightly different, and you might want. You should have have yours up there too. So for the rest of the period, you can work in your groups on Vince's thing, and I want to say a couple of things about the process. One is, don't worry if you don't get it perfect. Initially, one of the things that we'll do is we will, like we did with the, with all the fields, you'll come up here and you will show people and we'll have a discussion about it. They can differ. They don't have to be identical because they can differ depending on how you define some of the business rules, right? But it would be good to have people look at it and say, well, do you think that should be 2 entities or 1? Do you think you forgot something, or do you have extras to, just to explain it to people can be really useful to you as well as them. So we will do that. And then after you do that, you can fix it if you need to, right? If you want to fix it a little bit. And then we will build the database. So we're pretty close to actually building the first database. And then we'll go through the whole process again. So hopefully by the second time, the only next time we'll use MySQL to build it. By the time we've gone through it, iterated through it one more time, it'll start to make more sense, hopefully, in a way that'll stick with you a little bit. And then we'll throw it all out the window and do some NoSQL. Partially because jobs are asking for NoSQL, a lot of them are. Yeah.
So if, from the security point of view, does it make more sense to have a table specifically for the different types of access, and then to link that to another table for the users, or would you put the access level into the user table?
I'm not even sure I could put it in. So in Vizio and most SQL Server, and in fact most relational databases, you can assign people to roles, and those roles determine their access permissions.
So we need a table for roles and a table for users.
Well, actually, they're database objects. You don't actually need them in a table. I mean, the database itself keeps track of roles and stuff.
You have to assign them somewhere.
Yeah, but you create the role, which is its own object. Just like a table is an object, a role is its own object. So you create that, and then you assign the users to those roles. We will do some of that. probably both for SQL Server and so. But the database itself has actually most of the tools you need to assign permissions to look at things. It actually does store them in tables, but but they're system tables. All right, so go ahead and start this. I don't expect you to finish it now. You know, you've got what, 40, 50 minutes? I really don't expect you to finish it, but what we'll do is on Monday, we'll look at where you are. If you need the whole period Monday, I'll give it. If you need half the period Monday, we'll do that. In this Canvas, I think it says that the presentation start Monday. We'll play that by ear and maybe start Wednesday. Okay, so I saved this. I need a picture of it.
Yeah, my only team member in attendance.
Are you the only team member? So it's up to you if you want to do this on your own.
I got your email.
I thought your team they've been pretty good about showing other days. I wonder what today.
I haven't really done very much since I sent that email out.
So yeah, it's entirely up to you whether you want to do this now or wait until your team is with you.
Yeah, I could be
Kind of knocked it out according to our original design.
Yeah, then you can have them.
There's some issues. It's just-
Yeah.
We need to label. Inventory will be on.
Yeah.
Inventory will be on. Products will be. Well, no, I was thinking.
Jericho,
They
Crash.
connect to the box.
Fixed for product.
Right, so one of them
I
is-
don't know.
So, okay, inventory will be the code, but the product key will be. Oh, you start right.
Well, that will be able to pull other information over. So we have our code. We can sell more than one. We have to sell each one, right? So this is product 1A.
They are.
So this is 1. This is A. And then we have more than that. I think we need to take some of these out. So that's kind of
Well, like
where.
one of the things, guys kind of talking about inventory, the different quality types. Kind of like how we put them in the product.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm thinking, okay, inventory, I need to label this, so this will be. So, I got it on today.
We need that.
So this will be soda.
Oh, no, no.
So that was just like in my watch, and then I didn't know what else. And then we can add more information.
There are one thing again, this is a minimum menu, but this
This is like,
So,
Right, so you put it right in, you put it in there for the store. Right, yeah, well, so the apples can have.
So,
primary key, primary keyboard.
yeah, one to two.
you can have more than one.
There's most of it is just.
You can send it out multiple.
If you've got some-
So why not put just.
I think.
What if we, since we already have that price ID here, if we just break that out, then we'll have artist born.
But like some, like, okay, so one of my favorite, so I was
Yeah, the artist born key, and then maybe we have the album broken out.
So we need somewhere.
No,
Okay, yeah, so I think that's where we need to pick up. Oh, so vinyl category. So like style and genre and all that, can you stay with art?
Yes.
Those would go with your keys, and then we'll add
And then artists, and then four key artists as well, and then foreign key, we're gonna do my track ID. Okay. So the inventory is kind of, since they are going to be primary for each individual products, right? Whether it's available, that's where we put in, she kind of suggested that we have some condition of the quality for that item inventory. Or we could just have a separate thing. I don't know if that makes sense to bring out.
I don't mind.
Well, we got the condition table.
Yeah, the linking table.
One condition, so then maybe it's just
Maybe like,
Yeah.
stick the main, and then it's gonna hold.
Yeah.
And then go out. If you work at it enough,
Since these are going to be all unique identifiers. And you're only really going to have one in stock out of it, right? It's not like you're going addition along with it.
Yeah, 'cause I think we need to check the
Or you can just group it all in here.
No, I think it's good.
So, yes, but that would break
Do that. Then you have to create
we're
another
not
14
normally.
for condition.
What happens? Like that would be like
You mean number?
basically all the information providers that we included it also like the purchasing information.
Think of the artist in the final product that specifies the condition because the artist.
Yeah, one sec.
You know, same
Provider
record.
information.
Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was thinking just double inventory. That would be the new, right? So you have artists and then
That's why.
the album type, which I think
And then so basically what happens is here we have a provider.
so
All right, I think I set it to 5, so you should be able to join.
It will tell us that this
Maybe also see around the house.
Yeah.
Basically, seller record, seller sheet.
Maybe we could just talk to the team.
if we put it in the provider.
Kind of like.
So run it to the provider, what he said that we have to put a vinyl.
You wouldn't have a warranty. I mean, basically, this is a product warranty.
So, provided
You guys have a session?
not having.
no, because it's controlled. Yeah, it's controlled by the server and the roles.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went beyond that. This original one broken out. Role plates. So permission.
And even they still we need I think we should leave it there for now.
Those will be controlled by the system. Yeah, see, those
So
are
that's not what it is.
so the roles are where you define the functions.
I would know if we need these two, because he was talking to someone else. The program itself.
That's right. If you wouldn't have it like that, then it wouldn't be normal.
But even though they control the control.
You could add around just to make sure it's that.
Yeah, but because we're not gonna program or tell it what to do, it's just gonna use this information.
Yeah, so
Is that a rule, for example, that the customer
Actually, we're gonna need to come up with codes so that we can report by who sold us a site.
How about that?
No, I think the permissions can.
And they use the type ID.
That one I think we need because we need to differentiate between our customers, our vendors, and our employees to see who's doing what. So I think that's a salad. So I think the permission.
Yeah, awesome.
And, oh, we need to break down. Kind of populates the city, so we need to have that.
please speak.
I wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily.
and I don't know if we can tell you how
Look at our database and see, so far and see how we're doing. We're still gonna add more.
Class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so deposit, no, and deposit balance.
Do you think we can have? I'm not sure. Because I was thinking maybe it actually needs to go.
Because you'd only do a deposit.
I'll talk to you guys this weekend.
Yeah. It's up to you if you want to do that.
Yeah, that too. Where is the
It's currently underneath.
I just.
Also, are you saying?
Actually, it might be one off the table because.
The artist, well, it's actually the concept.
There you go.
So you were looking at
tables,
oh.
those two. Yeah.
I would link out the girls, yeah. Well, so what I would do is I create.
So we have a user type, so Vince can be logged in and then he can add stuff to his
Yeah,
inventory.
just here's your vendor right here,
You can
and we
do
just put
artist,
it underneath.
just make it to the song.
Customer ID, what we could probably do to make this more. User ID, and then- Yeah, I mean,
And just change customer.
yeah, because it's not so ambiguous, or specific to my and that's defined by our user type. Which is rare.
Artist should be one.
We'll probably end up having this one right now. Remember, our original idea was to house everybody all in one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was the question?
I don't see any people who say.
You're on the right.
Right here.
Well, you have your unique customer ID, which would be flagged as a vendor.
Yeah.
If you're a company, then the company is yes. Then you would have the company name here.
Missing the product. Or is that in the code?
No, it's the customer ID, but based on everything we talked about, I think we're gonna have to break that down.
Yeah, if you have customer.
Because you think I'm cooking. and they think I've been here as customer.
Well, I mean, at certain point for our exercise, seems like we're indexing everything down and just having more tables. So like a lot of this stuff is gonna go into these three. One table. A lot of this stuff, like you said, a year or a style, will go into the catalog.
Yeah.
This album
I
is.
can see that.
And then, you know, we can list, you know, the 10 or 12 track numbers here. And that way, we could search for this information, we can see all the information broken out of this table. So, yeah. That's just not complex.
So